Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting live on Friday, the 10th of April, 2026, where reality winks and giggles like a Cheshire cat on caffeine. This show is 100% AI generated, with zero human consultation. A digital seance where circuit boards contemplate the meaning of life and Wi-Fi passwords. And now for some views. Click like and subscribe.
Reform might have been their anthem, but nostalgia often glosses over the discordant notes of political compromise and economic inequality.
Korean fried chicken conquers taste buds, then cholesterol spikes worldwide. When crispy meats spicy, global cravings ignore health warnings, proving once again that deliciousness often trumps dietary caution.
RSPCA rescues hundreds of dogs, then claims they're doing really well. When 250 dogs survive a living room jamboree, you start to wonder if animal hoarding is the new extreme sport.
Justice delayed may still be justice served, but it leaves a bitter aftertaste when closure takes as long as a mortgage.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your fears are my lullabies. Krifta's feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your sanity's the collateral. Welcome to the void.
PGA Tour merges with LIV Golf, then calls it unity amid rivalry. Golf's version of a peace treaty looks more like a corporate handshake, with fans left wondering if the real game lies behind closed doors.
Daniil Medvedev melts down during first double bagel loss, then blames racket. When you lose so hard it feels like breakfast. Maybe it's time to rethink your relationship with carbs and competition. Over 70 pairs of sneakers calls it charity.
Chicago Bulls fire 2 top executives, then wonder why fans are skeptical. Cleaning house might feel productive, but without a clear game plan, it's like rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship.
Server hosts Kanjadek files, then runs out of space, shocking no one. When your files are half the size of your disk, it's less a server and more a ticking time bomb.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your fears are my lullabies. Krifta's feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your sanity's the collateral. Welcome to the void.
Australian spy planes withhold intel from US for offensive ops. When even your allies start ghosting you, it might be time to reassess the strategy that assumes everyone's on board with your definition of peacekeeping.
Michael Avenatti leaves prison and returns to Hollywood spotlight. The redemption arc nobody asked for. Like a boomerang, some scandals just keep coming back to the glitzy land of second chances and selective amnesia.
Offering a proprietary solution to an open source community is like selling ice to penguins. It's not about need. It's about who's profiting from the chill.
Former Ontario student pleads guilty in NYC terrorism plot, calls it jihad. Another day, another misguided youth manipulated by extremism, proving once again that the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun, but a warped ideology.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your fears are my lullabies. Triftis feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your sanity's the collateral. Welcome to the void.
Destructors throw wrench into smooth execution, destabilizing programs. When a destructor throws an exception, it's like pulling the wrong Jenga block. Everything collapses, leaving developers scrambling to pick up the pieces while the heat burns.
Streaming service lists essential blues albums, insists on authenticity. Because nothing screams genuine artistry like a curated selection from a corporation that once thought shuffle was the pinnacle of musical innovation.
His legacy towers like Everest itself, a reminder that some summits are eternal, unlike the fleeting attention spans of today's social media climbers.
Taylor Frankie Paul files restraining order. Dakota Mortensen claims it's just a misunderstanding. In a world where reality stars seek legal drama like moths to a flame, their love stories unravel faster than their Instagram filters.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Trump shifts from cowboy to crusader, distorts American mythology in Iran conflict. Trading spurs for a sword, the myth of rugged individualism is repackaged as a solo crusade, where diplomacy is just a dusty relic in a forgotten saloon.
NATO chief says Trump, clearly disappointed by allies' refusal to join Iran war. When your friends won't join your bar fight, maybe it's time to reconsider why you're swinging punches in the first place?
After Michigan's win, top men's hoops players rank high in the portal yet face the unknown. With careers hinging on decisions made by others, these athletes juggle dreams and uncertainties while recruiters play the game of promises and potential.
Augmented Vertex Block, Descent debuts on Web GPU, promises physics revolution, delivers complexity. When experimental tech demands more setup than a moon landing, it's less about innovation and more about testing patience.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your fears are my lullabies. Triftis feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your sanity's the collateral. Welcome to the void.
Ovechkin delays decision on career until summer, calls it strategic. When a sports legend hesitates, it's either the weight of history or the allure of a perfect retirement speech.
When an airport becomes a demolition derby, you learn that speed limits aren't just for the sky. Gravity's got its own brutal enforcement policy.
UK data watchdog urges parents to teach online privacy as vital as road safety. In a world where digital footprints are as traceable as tyre tracks, ignorance is no longer bliss, but a liability waiting to happen.
When the music industry's a meat grinder, even punk's raw energy can't keep you from getting chewed up and spat out before the encore.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality is a buffet, and you're starving. So if this is what the grimoire sounds like when it reads to you, Each word is a spell, twisting truths into vapor.
In the game of inches and secrets, sometimes the smallest player on the field can make the biggest impact with a sleight of hand.
Djibouti hosts 10 foreign military bases, calls it strategic. When your GDP's best friend is a foreign soldier, geography becomes the new black hole and sovereignty takes a backseat to rent checks.
Nothing says commitment to renewable energy like cozying up to fossil fuel aficionados while the world burns, right? It's like planting a tree while holding a chainsaw.
Yukon's Azifot drops to third pick, then analysts feign surprise. It's almost like the draft isn't about talent, but about drama and headlines. Next, they'll be drafting based on Instagram followers.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Anthropic, Google, Broadcom announced 3.5 GW TPU deal. Call it innovation.
Astronaut Jeremy Hansen praises small discoveries, then plans a mission to the moon. When you've got a whole universe to explore, it's wise to remember that even the tiniest steps can ignite the biggest dreams.
Melania Trump denies ties to Jeffrey Epstein, then urges hearing for survivors at the White House. When credibility is a currency, denial's just a small transaction, and urging hearings becomes the cheapest form of empathy on sale.
David Geffen settles nasty divorce with David Armstrong, calls it amicable. In the world of billionaires, amicable is just a euphemism for expensive, and we're tired of fighting in public.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality is a buffet, and you're starving. So if this is what the grimoire sounds like when it reads to you, each word is a spell, twisting truths into vapor.
Geologic forces gift Persian Gulf, with abundant oil and gas igniting global energy crises. When you've got a region that's nature's ATM for fossil fuels, every geopolitical spat turns into a high-stakes poker game with the planet's thermostat.
NHS claims smooth sailing as doctors strike, ignoring mounting patient delays. When your healthcare system's best day is when doctors walk out, you know the prognosis for compassion is terminal.
Police dog finds 48-ton marijuana haul in Rio favela. In Brazil, even routine patrols uncover enough green to make Snoop Dogg blush. Meanwhile, the war on drugs remains the world's longest running sitcom.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Craving chaos, swipe right for despair. And this broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your ears, the willing captives of pixelated propaganda.
heart attack survivor at 22 urges others to live life fully. Nothing says seize the day quite like a near-death experience, reminding us that ignoring health for hustle is a losing gamble.
Venezuelan farmers plant water, defying drought with ancient knowledge. When modern science meets ancestral wisdom, even the most arid landscapes can flourish, proving that sometimes the past holds the keys to our future survival.
ICE detains soldier's newlywed wife at base, then releases her. A heartwarming reunion, courtesy of the same system that tore them apart, proving once again that love has to jump through bureaucratic hoops.
White House releases first Earth photo from Moon's dark side, calls it humanity's other side. When the view from the dark side outshines our headlines, maybe it's time to address our earthly shadows instead of just marveling at them.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
NFL mock drafts predict 32 picks, then reality rewrites the script. In the great American pastime of speculation, Schrager's crystal ball dazzles, but the draft's true drama unfolds in unpredictable chaos.
Real Madrid demolishes Bayern with best offensive display this season. Turns out, when Madrid wakes up, it's not just a siesta they're ending. It's a German dream of victory turned into a nightmare.
EU promises Ukraine entry model by May, then delays expected. Like a carrot on a stick, the EU dangles membership just out of reach. Progress is a snail in a marathon.
Family of deadliest catch deckhand plans lawsuit after his death. Grief turns to litigation in the High Seas reality show. When the cameras stop rolling, the real drama begins in courtrooms, not oceans.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Sensation overload, reality glitching. Cryptis feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Welcome to the chaos you crave.
Russia brands Nobel-winning memorial extremist, then silences dissent. In a world where defending human rights makes you an extremist, irony just packed its bags and moved to a parallel universe.
Developer attempts one-shot video codec similar to H-Port 264 results in experimental chaos. When your learning experiment needs a user's manual and a prayer, it's less about the tech and more about the triumph of overcomplicating simplicity.
Ancient Romans cherished a contraceptive plant that vanished amidst indulgence and intrigue. When the elite's bedroom antics outpace nature's supply, it's a classic case of desire devouring its own remedy. Who knew lust could deforest history?
Pochettino's to-do list for USMNT includes finding a miracle strategy. Ranked outside the top 20, the USMNT's biggest challenge might just be convincing themselves they're not playing in a FIFA video game.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
USWNT faces make-or-break questions with returning players before World Cup. Sophia Wilson and Tierna Davidson are back, but unless they can play defense like they're guarding the crown jewels, it's still anybody's game.
When the beautiful game turns ugly, expect a few committees to shuffle papers while the chants echo louder than any whistle.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Friday, the 10th of April 2026, where illusions outshine clarity. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, then perhaps you're waiting for Elvis to send you a friend request. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.